Greetings, fellow humans. Wayne the Crimson Eye here. I realize it's been a while since I've done a video, but for this particular video, I'm just going to do a rant. I do have a couple of videos down the pipeline here, but until then, this is probably what I'm going to be doing for a good while. So here's the story. I love Nintendo as a developer. Their corporate structure, on the other hand, leaves a lot to be desired. I think a fair few people would agree with me on that. The topic of this is that Skyward Sword HD, for those of you who don't know, it was remastered for the Nintendo Switch not too long ago, and it has apparently surpassed the original release at 3.62 million. That's about 200 million up from the 3.42 million that the original sold on the Wii. To me, that is very concerning for two reasons. Number one, this is a $60 HD release. To me, this is a very bad precedent for HD remasters. It's going to embolden a lot of other developers to put in less work and charge more money for an older game. This one's not particularly well done, especially compared to the last couple of remakes and remasters that Nintendo have done with their Zelda games. And the thing is that when you compare them to other remasters, like particularly, I know a lot of people are going to talk about Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, and for good reason. Both of those had 3 games each. And not only were the graphics fantastic, they were sold for $40. I don't think I need to explain why Nintendo looks bad in comparison. Even Super Mario 3D All-Stars was a better deal. You had 3 games for $60, which, while not as good of a deal as, Spyro and Crash, is still, 3 games in one. Hell, even the HD remaster of Xenoblade had a separate campaign, 8 to 13 hours, depending on how you play it. That is a far better deal, on top of, an 80-plus hour game. And they actually reworked the graphics quite a bit. Now, this is probably because the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker re-releases were $60, and while they were better value in comparison, still not great. Now, I did not buy Wind Waker HD. That was a present to me for Christmas. I enjoyed it. I got to relive my childhood, and it has a lot of quality of life improvements on top of the genuinely good HD overhaul. And Twilight Princess, I bought this one from a third-party seller, so Nintendo didn't really make any money. From my understanding, it was actually $50 for the base release, $60 if you got it with the amiibo. And when it comes to third-party sellers, it's probably what I'll end up doing with Skyward Sword. I just don't think that it's worth that much, and I personally do not want to encourage this kind of behavior from Nintendo in the future. Going on to my second reason why this worries me is that Skyward Sword, whatever you may think of it, is not a good game. This could affect future Zelda releases, and that I don't want it to go back like that. I'll admit I enjoyed it, but it was way too linear, which defeats the purpose of a Zelda game, much less a so-called adventure game. It treats the player like an idiot, which admittedly a lot of it fixes in the HD re-release. But really, what worries me the most is that if this is selling well, Nintendo could possibly turn this series back to this formula that I was starting to grow kind of tired of. Even Shigeru Miyamoto said that this is going to grow tiresome even back when Wind Waker first released in 2003. And call me crazy, but really I just want the only thing between me and my quest to be my ability to actually get there, not talking to the right person, not being a fucking errand boy for 15 hours before I get to the next goddamn dungeon. And the thing is that back when Skyward Sword was released, it was blowtorched, and for good reason. The fans' reception to this game gave the series the about face it desperately needed. Link Between Worlds and Breath of the Wild were masterpieces. I hope Nintendo does not forget that. This is almost as bad as Ground Zeroes, and we should not support we shouldn't support this kind of behavior. This is what makes Nintendo fans look bad to everybody else. But I guess that's about all I have for today. Until next time, over and out.